There's definitely this thing that happens on the internet today whereby older metal fans take some digs at younger metal fans just for being young and because they weren't around back in the day. Well, I'm going to rant about that because that's effing stupid. So the older generation busting on the newer generation really isn't anything new. It's been going on for ages. But I think with the internet, you're seeing a lot more immediacy, a lot more real-time interaction with this, but also from the safety of a keyboard. When the old people busted the young people, they did it in person, face-to-face. So people can get brave on the internet, as we all know. So there's that. It's also clear to me that a lot of the older people are doing this as a means to feel relevant or necessary, which is kind of strange considering that in life you should probably try to find relevance or meaning in the things you do, whether it's family or career or creative efforts. But some people don't go that route. Maybe some people can't go that route. So trolling on the internet is kind of a thing for them. Of course, some older folks are doing this because they're getting old. I'm getting old. I think the difference is that I don't really have that mindset, that bitterness, but a lot of other folks do. They miss the days when they were in their 20s and 30s, and they're going to take it out on the young people because they can't be young anymore. So some of the attitude is coming from that as well, and it's pretty transparent. It's pretty silly, but again, the internet, where you can hide a little bit, you can, the safety of a keyboard, so you can kind of get it out that way. One route some of this takes is definitely through memes. Memes are a thing kids do, but also like older people take their hand at it too. It's pretty interesting when that happens because they take the form of the, you're too young to know this kind of a thing. One of the ones I've seen somewhat recently is this is a cassette and this is a pencil and you don't know what these have in common. And it's like, well, why should kids care what that has in common? Again, I think you're assuming some relevance there where it doesn't even matter because kids are like, so what? And realistically, it doesn't matter. I mean, who cares? Cassettes, aside from the sort of minority interest in them, resurgence thing that really isn't taking off, to be brutally honest, kids don't care. I mean, they don't care that if you take a pencil and put it in a cassette and wind it, you can pull up the loose tape. That's a problem of 30, 40 years ago. So, but, again, feeling relevant, even if it's weird and fake and I don't even know. Of course, there's some weird ego stuff in here, too, with some of these older folks. They feel like they've really gotten something over on the kids. And it's like, why is that an activity that's appealing to you? Again, things in your own life, don't you have those? I guess I say that ostensibly because they probably don't. But again, I don't get it. Are you having to take things out on kids? I mean, what do you do in your spare time? Do you go down to the playground and beat up grade schoolers and show how strong you are? I don't get it. I guess I'm not interested in cheap self-flattery, which is where a lot of this kind of goes. Again, it's the ego-stroking thing. I guess I don't need to brag that I know every lyric to Rain and Blood from Slayer and can sing it on memory, even though that's kind of cool, I guess. Whatever. Of course, some of this might be a response of older people to the young folks because young people bust on old people too a little bit, probably for some of this behavior. Then it ends up an endless loop cycle, The young people reacting against the old people, get on them, and then in turn the old people get on the young people, and then it just becomes a back and forth. And then it becomes a crazy internet thread, and everyone's a troll. Now, I'm not going to take this rant to tell anyone what to do. I mean, most people are going to do what they're going to do anyways, but it is kind of a lame attempt at trying to be cool. I think that's another motivation of some of these folks. Again, missing their younger cool. Maybe somehow they can get a facsimile of it now in middle age. And I don't know. It's a lame attempt. And yeah, it's just, I shake my head. I shake my head because I'm older too. And I kind of see the irrelevance of it and the pointlessness of it. But if you say this to these other folks, they don't get it. Of course, what I do with my knowledge of metal, going out to older folks, but also the younger generation, is I make these videos and put them out into the world. And, I'm not a jerk about it, and nor do I have to be, because I just don't have that kind of ego tied into putting other folks down. And, I'm not going to get mushy about it either. If someone comes at me, obviously I'm going to come after them. But most of the time, that's not a thing. and I don't feel offense if kids are into something I don't understand or whatever. I listen to new music too. I listen to a lot of the modern metal as well. So maybe that helps a little bit. I know there are a lot of people my age who avoid that. Like, there's no good Slayer album after, Seasons in the Abyss or whatever. And, I have to hang out with some of those folks sometimes. And it's very strange because I'm like, there are really good bands out there that are new as well. You don't have to listen to them, but they don't suck because they weren't around in 1980, whatever. So that's a conversation I have with my fellow old people, and it's just bizarre. And that's my rant for this episode. But let me know what you think about this whole old versus young metal fan thing. Are you a willing participant in it? Maybe you are. Who knows? Anyways, leave those thoughts and any other relevant ones in the comments below. If you liked what you heard and saw, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Also, share it with your friends and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.